All right. Good morning. Can somebody remind us where we stopped last time? How to create a variable, right? So which means that we have started looking at variable. Using which language? Using what? Bash. So what we said is Bash in cybersecurity. How is Bash related to us? Bash is a scripting language used in navigating around Kali Linus. So which means that the Kali Linus is the hacker or the hacking machine itself. But for us to be able to work around it, for us to be able to exploit the resources within it, we have to learn how to use what? Bash, or how to speak Bash. I told us that we are expected to learn two different scripting languages which are used for ethical hacking or penetration testing. One of them is born again what? Shell, which is the Bash. And the second one is Python. So what we are doing right now, since we ought to have gathered this knowledge before approaching this program as prerequisites, what we are doing here is just to give us the basic knowledge, which means that we are not learning the whole of what? The languages. So you cannot graduate from the aspect of Bash that we are going to be considering and Python and end up calling yourself a professional Bash programmer or professional Python programmer. We are only scratching the surface to enable us use the resources built with these languages within the Kali what? Linus. So in that class, we started looking at Kali Linus what? Test editors, right? Yes, where I mentioned V and what? Vim and also Nano, right? And I told us that this test editor for us are going to serve as development environments, which are also referred to as the IDE, Integrated Development Environment. And I define that as an application or applications created for developer to write, execute, and what? Debug their codes. So we now started looking at how to use the text editor, how to activate it, how to write content in it, how to save and quit. And then we now ended that session with variable. So I'm going to recap the variable. So I'm picking it up from variable again. I told us that variable in programming is known as a name given to what? The storage. So we can as well say that variables are programming what? Storage or containers, where programmer stores information temporarily. And I also give us another definition that we can see variable as a means or a logic of introducing external information into the program memory. For example, I want to use my name to write an app within this program, but I know that my name is not a keyword, right? What is a keyword? A keyword is a name that has already been used within a language to store a function. That is what makes it what? A keyword. So in as much Prosper is not a keyword, which means that Prosper does not exist in this particular program what? Memory. So I have to what? Introduce it into the memory of the program using what concept? Using variable what? Concept. So how do we create variable in Bash? Now remember, I gave us what I call, there's a name I call it. I'm trying to band what? Shank, something like that, right? Which defines the syntax, the standard structure of writing what? Bash code. That it must start with hash, exclamation, slash bin, slash what? Bash. So it's a standard we must follow. So, but for us to create the variable, we have to call the editor. So how do we call the editor? So look up. You know, I was using what? Vim, right? I was using Vim. So you can as well use what? V. You can as well use V, because I told us in that session that Vim is the improved version of what? V. So that does not mean that V does not exist. Just that when you call Vim, you are using a higher what? Version, right? Now, followed by the name of the file. So let's say we want to create what? Variable. We want to create what? Variable. Let me just put S in case variable is a keyword. Now, we have to specify the extension. What did I say is extension in programming? What is an extension? What is what? An extension. Do you still remember? What is Python extension? Are you sure? I mentioned it. When I put .sh, what did I say is the sh? Look at it. If I put dot, which we did now, so the dot and the sh, what is it called? That is the extension. If you are saving a Python file, it's not going to be what? .sh. It's going to be what? .py. That's what? Pi. So every language, good. That is an extension. It's not part of the name of your file. The name of your file is variable SSS. While whatever that comes after the dot is called what? An extension. So what is an extension? So that tomorrow you will not say, I did not define it. An extension is a program. An extension is a program decoder. Let me use that word and I will explain it. That is a format. That is another word. We can say what? The program format. That is the format a program uses to read its file. That is a format a program uses to read its what? File. So if I give you Microsoft Word document, what is the extension? .doc, right? What is the extension for PowerPoint? Yes. So assignment, go and find that. Extension of PowerPoint and extension of Excel. P what? P something, right? So I'm just using that one for you to understand, right? Because which means that if somebody sends you a file and you are trying to open it and that extension does not exist within your system, you will not be able to access what? That file. Let me give us another practical example. How many of us have heard of PDF? What is the full meaning of PDF? Portable. Wow. Portable. Are you serious? Portable. That is what you know it to be now. Your what? What's your own? Eh? What is your own? Okay, it's PostScripts, document file. PostScripts, document file. Maybe that portable, is it handy that we carry, that we know whether it's portable? So say portable laptop. I mean, we are looking at it from the aspect of carriage, right? But they can easily carry it. Okay.
So the full meaning of PDF is what? Postscripts. Document what? File, which means what? To an extent, an encrypted file, a file that is only readable. That is what it's meant to be. So to an extent, that file is already secure. The user is not expected to what? To edit it. Just like you have JPEG. JPEG, once somebody JPEG an image or a file are sent to you, that file is now what? An image. You cannot tamper with it. So what I'm just trying to give you an instance of what? Extension. So you see that when you have a PDF file, if somebody send you an attachment, somebody scan the certificate and send to you via email, you will need an application called Acrobat what? Reader. Adobe what? Reader, right? For you to be able to do what? To read that attachment. So that is how it is. So when we say .sh, it means what? Share. The bash, the share. So now, what I have written now is the name of the V. The V is telling us the IDE, the text editor that will be used to write file or text that is saved as what? Variables what? .sh. Yes?
So you checked online and you say that the post document file is not correct, that portable document file for PDF.
It's PDF. Which website did you bring it from? It's correct. Go and do more research. All right. So except if there's an update, you know, internet is full of different people ideas. So AI can bring once somebody uploaded, just like the way she mentioned it now. So we are not saying that our own is actually totally wrong, but the one I know to be is what? Postscript. Okay, so I was trying to explain something to us because for the sake of people that were not in the last class. So now once I have entered it like this, I'll press enter. So that has automatically opened what? That has automatically what? Taking us to the editor. So this is where we are going to create the variable. But before we create the variable, I told us last time that we have to switch from readable mode to what? Writable what? Mode by pressing what? I. Then after that, once you press the letter I, you are going to see insert here. So which means at that point, you can start what? Writing. You can start writing. If you have not done that, it's not allowed you to what? To write. So now, what type of file do you want to create? Because this same ID in this context can be used to write Python code. So it's not only one language that it can be used to what? To implement. So that is why we are saying that, okay, for us to tell the IDE that we are writing bash program, what do? We follow that what? That standard, which is what? Hash, exclamation, slash bin, slash what? Bash. Then we'll go down. Then variable. For us to create a variable, I explained that variable has three parts, right? Variable has the name session, variable has the assignment operator, and variable has what? The value. So how do you create it? Let's say I want to create a variable that will hold my name and display that name in my Kali terminal. So I will say the name of the variable, let's say what? Name. And then the equal sign there is an assignment, it's not equality, right? Then the type of information or value that you are saving in the variable to determine how you store it. So if I bring out string like this quote is called what? String in programming. It means that I am storing text-based data type in what? In name container. So I'm storing my name, Prosper, and then I will also what? Close the quote. Then you go to the next line and display the variable value. And for us to achieve that, we have to use a bash function for outputting, which is called what? Echo. So we come here and say what? Echo. Please make sure when you are creating the variable, bash does not accept what? Space. So you shouldn't type after the equal sign, you now space before you type that string, please. There shouldn't be space. So what do we want to echo? In other words, what do we want to what? Display. Now I said when you want to display a value in a variable, you display it with what? $sign. That's the name of the variable, which is what? $sign what? Name. So that is how you reference that. Is an existing container. Now, after you have done this, we have to save and exit. How do we save? We have to press escape, right? And then shift what? Colon. Then W is to do what? To write. YQ is what? To quit. Then you press enter. Now, once you have done that, you have to come back to, you have to switch this particular file to executable mode. And to do that, I said you type what? C what? CH mode, right? CH mode, then plus what? X, then followed by the name of that file. What is the name of the file? Variable, right? Variable, how many X do I have here? 2. Okay, 3X. Then dot that same extension. So this means you have switched to what? Executable mode. Now I want to display what we store in the variable called what? Name in the terminal here. So I will now switch to it by writing dot and then slash. Then what's the name? Variable what? Variables dot variable dot the extension. So once I run it, what did you see now? It outputted what? This is the value that we store in the variable here. Name, we store what? Prosper. So I'll give us 10 minutes to achieve this because I think it's like we're having issue with displaying the value in the last class. So everybody, I'm giving you 5 minutes to create a variable and output its value within the Kali terminal. So start now, please. Just 5 minutes is enough. For those of us that have not confirmed it, and if you have confirmed it, just let us know so that we can assume why you are not writing.
All right, so let's look at another example. For this time around, is going to be a little bit different from the first example, but it's for us to understand it better. Okay, I hope you are following. Okay, so now let's create another variable. I'll start with using the same word, the same text editor. The same text editor. Let's say this one is var2.sh, indicating that is what? Born again shell file. Now switch into the insert mode and then switch back to what? The insert mode, and then I'll start with the default, which is hash exclamation slash bin exclamation bash. All right, so here what we want to do is this: we are creating a variable, and while we try to output the value in the variable, we are going to attach a string. So this is, so I'll say, okay, I want to create a variable that store course the student is offering. Let's say course is equals to cyber security. Cyber security. Now, echo, like I explained before, echo is to display. Echo. Now, you can see the logic I'm going to use here now. we want to echo not just cybersecurity. We want to echo a student register to learn cybersecurity. So you can see the whole of that is student register. It's not stored anywhere, right? But we want to print it alongside with what we have in our variable called what? Course. So how do you print such? So after this, you open another string. So you write the whole of that statement inside first. Let's say what? Or let's say welcome. Welcome to, now I want to mention what? Cyber security. Now we know that cyber security is already stored in a variable, right? So I will call it from the variable. How do I reference a variable while outputting? How do I reference a variable? $sign. Please take note of all this. What will be the name of the variable? Exactly what you type there, which is what? Course. Now, the string must cover it as well like this. Hello, are you getting the logic? The string that you open here must cover both what you are attaching and the variable itself. Then after that, we cannot save and exit. So how do we save again? Escape and then what? Colon, then WQ and then enter, right? So what's the next thing? Let me know if you were following. What's the next thing? I have to switch the file to what? Executable what? Mode. Using what? This command, ch what? Mode. Then followed by what? Loss and the s followed by the name you use, which is what? Variable what? 2.sh. Now, once it does not throw error, it means you have switched. Now, how do we now access those information we want to see? Welcome to cybersecurity. // followed by what? That name var what? 2.sh. Once you press it, you get it. Welcome to what? Cyber security. So what are we learning all this while? What are we learning? What exactly are we learning? We are learning scripting what? Language. For what? For ethical hacking or penetration what? So this is just like you are preparing yourself. Because when we start launching some penetration testing, the code we are going to use will be written with this language. And these languages are the languages that are built in your Kali. And that is why we are taking care of them first. And like I said, you're supposed to have learned all this as prerequisites or requirement to enroll into what? Cyber security before coming here. For what we are doing right now, because when I asked the other time, almost the entire class, nobody have knowledge of any of these programming languages. And that's the reason why we are taking our time to establish the foundation. Once I'm done with the basic things I want to expose us to, if you now want to learn it to professional level, you go and enroll in their classes. So have we all achieved that? Faith, I hope you have rectified the issue now. Let me see those others. Bring your laptop. So let's look at something else. That settles variable. That settles variable. Now, for this variable that we created, hello, what type of value did we store in the variable string? So let me just do one more variable with number so that you don't think that variable can help with the numbers. Then after that, we can now move to the next one. So let me escape. What have escaped here? Okay, I've not clicked. Escape. No, I'm just going. I want to check something first. So let's say I have V VRO3 dot SH, and then of course enter the insert or insertion mode, then follow the standard exclamation slash bin slash bash. All right, then I'll create a variable x. Variable s is holding what? 90. Then variable f is holding, let's say, 100. Now, what do I want to perform? I want to multiply, or I want to add, or let's say I want to perform a simple arithmetic calculation with this value. So how will I echo them? So I will say echo what? Echo dollar what? Echo dollar what? S times what? Dollar what? Dollar what? F, right? And then let's save, escape, follow WQ. Now let's switch, let's change it to executable mode, CH mode, then S, what was the name? VRO3, right? VRO3 what? Dot SH. Now, we can now enter the directory to see the calculation. What are we expected to get? The answer of that calculation. So, dot this VRO3 dot SH. So you get what? Now, it brings out the, which means that the calculation was not properly performed. So let me go there and see. But I'll put your own first. Let's see where the error could be from. Now, I'm going to do something here. There's a little adjustment. So how do I go back to that file? Something we have learned. I'll just type what? That file again, right? Now, what we are going to do here, for us to echo it in a way that it will work directly, let's follow it like this. Just watch out. So I have to switch back to, for me to edit, what do? I have to switch to what? Start mode. Now, let me delete this. This is what we want to do. The first thing I want to achieve is to create a variable that will perform the calculation. So I can say, what do I want to do? It's a product. Let's say I want the product of 90 and what? 100. Product of 90 and 100. Now, what I am going to do, because I want to multiply them together, is going to convert it to what? To number. So to do that, I'll put the $ for both of them so that I don't attach it to each of them. That was the syntax that it did not take. So I will start with the $, function like this, another function inside. Now, just pay attention to what I'm doing here first. Now, the two variables involved will be inside what? The inner function bracket, which means that what? X times what? Times what? F. Then you close both of them like this. So instead of you attaching the $ to each of them, the way I did it before, you can just what? Put the $, then before the opening bracket, which means that what? All of them are inside. So now before you can now echo, So finally, I can echo. What are we going to echo now? We will echo what? Products, right? So like I told us the other time, we can use this logic of saying something before the echo. So we can say what? The product of 90 and what? And 100 is Then I want to call the variable that is holding the result, which is product. So I will put that in dollar. I will use dollar sign. I'll use dollar sign to call it product, just like the way it is. And then we can now also close it with the word, the string. So this is just like that second one that we did. So which means that the answer is going to be what? The product of 90 and 100 is what? To call the answer from this variable. So let's try and see whether it will before I allow us to continue. To escape, column WQ. I'm coming, I'll go back. Let me just confirm it working first. CH mode plus S, what is it? V what? VR3. Yeah, this is it. Then let's look at it. I think it's the same thing. So it's what? Can you see it now? So the product of 90 and 100 is what? 9,000, which means that it has multiplied the 90. So let me go back to that file so that you can understand it. This is what you are asking. Look at what I did here. So I'm giving us some time to get to where I am for the process. All right, let's look at another topic, right? Capturing a user's information or capturing user information. Capturing user information. So that settles variable. So I believe now we understand how to work with variable. Capturing users' information. User information. So we want to write bash scripts that we can ask users to give us their name. You know, if you look at the variable that we created, it's as if we have already know the person's name and we store the name in the variable. What about if you don't know the person's name? You just want to give them a container to impute their names. That is when we use this concept. So let me just create a file for it. Let's say what? File impute impute.sh. Now switch back to insert mode and follow the standard hash exclamation bin/bash. Now I want to echo, so I'll start by saying echo. So I'm telling the user what to provide. I'll say enter your name. Enter your name. Enter your name. So that is the first information that will be echoed. Now I'll go down to the next line. Pay attention. I'll go down to the next line. Now, the next line, lookup first. Lookup, I've told you guys several times that when I'm teaching like this, you should be writing, not coding alongside with me. It's not business center. You have to pay attention first. When I'm done, I will say, do it. You are doing it at the same time writing. You will end up confusing yourself. What I'm saying is that echo enter your name is a placeholder you are creating. So that name will be read, and then where will it now be stored? So in the second line, you will use the command read. Read what? Name. Now you can see that the name that I just typed now is not a variable that has been created. So it's just like a temporary container, which means once the user enter his or her name, the name will be held in what? The name as a temporary word placeholder. Now, when you now want to echo it, that is when you will now acknowledge it as a variable. So I will now re-echo. I will now re-echo welcome your name. So which means I will say echo again, echo, just like that first pattern, welcome. No, welcome, not enter. We have already asked the person to enter the name from the first line. So we are welcoming that person now because the name will have been given to you. So welcome, then you now use $sign to reference the name. So now, which means that at this level, it's just a placeholder, just to collect it. Then it will not dump it in what? The same name that I use here is what you use here. So after that, we have to complete the string, just like the second option. Now I can escape and then colon, then write and quit. Then let's change mode, ch mode to what? Plus x. What's the name? Input. The name is input dot sh. Now, I will not enter the directory to see if we are going to print whatever name. Now, see how it's going to ask you now. This is where you will not get the name display because it will ask you to type a name because that is what you said. Enter your name. So now, if I do ./input, sorry, if I do ./input .ch, can you see what is asking now? Enter your name. Then I will be the one to type, okay, my name is Prosper. Once I type Prosper, you now see what? Welcome what? Prosper. So in this case, the other one, we have already know the person's name. That's why we studied in what? Variable. But here, we don't know the person's name. That's why we are creating a container to receive the name. And once the name is received, the name will now be stored in what? The name will now be stored in that name variable. Let me go back to it so that we can. So if I say V, so this is what I was saying. This is the first line. You can go and snap it and see very well. This is the first line that we ask you for the name. And then to hold it, you can see that we are using this function now. Read is a function. To hold it in this name container, then here you echo, you are adding this welcome plus what will have been sent to that container. After the, all right, so let's look at capturing multiple inputs. Capturing multiple inputs. Are we together? Hope you are writing. Capturing multiple inputs. Capturing what? Multiple inputs. Now, if you look at the one we just did now, is what? One what? Inputs. Capturing multiple inputs. Capturing multiple inputs. So let's create a file for that. Let's create a file for that. Let's say vi, let me just name it mods.sh, capturing what? Multiple what? Inputs. Then following the standards, hash / bin / bash, right? / bin / now, yes, so what we want to develop an app that we capture the user's first name and what? Last name. In case you want to write it down, create an application to capture users' first name and last name. That's the project. That is what we want to achieve. We want to create an app that captures users' first name and what? Last name. So what is the code structure? I'll start with echo. Then string, enter your first name and last name, because we are capturing two. All right, then enter your first name and last name. Okay, now we have to read it. When the user gives the information, read what will create variable that placeholder that will be holding them. First name, then I will just space. I'm not putting comma. First name space, last name, last name, last name. That will go down. Then I will echo. I am printing an expression alongside echo hello $sign what? First name space $sign again last name. All right, then you have to close the string. Then after that, escape colon WQ. Then we change to what? Executable what? Mode, right? We change to executable mode. chmod plus x. What is the name of the file? mods.sh. All right, now let's enter the directory. /mods.sh. So he's asking me for the, you can see the format that came out now, two of them. Enter your first name. Okay. My first name is what? Prosper. Right? So what I will have done, you can see what I did now is not correct because it ended up at putting only one. So this is what, based on the format you used there. You know, you did not put comma. So what you will have done is that you just say what? Dot what? /mod. So you enter your first name is Prosper, then you space. Second name is what? Eloho, before you press enter. Then you now have what? Hello, Prosper, Eloho. So class work, you do one, do another one for it to stick. All right, so let's look at prompting on the same line. That's the topic, prompting on the same line. So here I just want to introduce another concept. If you don't want to use echo, there is a command we can use to prompt on the same line. So after writing the topic, just take these brief notes. Prompting on the same word, line. Note, instead of using echo, note, instead of using echo command, you can use the -p option. So let's see how it plays out. Let me create a different file. Let's say vi. I said instead of using the echo, you can use the -p. Just that option. So that is the option I want to use. Now look up. So let me enter the insert mode. Then follow the bash scripts standard /v. And then bash. So now, you know, initially when we asked them to enter their age or their name, we use echo, but now we're not going to use that. This is another method. So you can just start with what? Read. You can just start with read, you space, then -what? P, then before the string. So this is what has replaced the enter. So I can, sorry, the echo. So I will say enter your age. Enter your age. Now on the same line, no, you put the colon there, then you close the string. Then all you will do is that, you know, the other time we went down to use the read after echo, right? But the same line, you just space and type age. So which means that is the placeholder. Then finally, you can now do what? Echo. So we are adding a description to the output. So we say echo you use $sign to reference the variable. You are age, that is whatever age the person must have given you. You are age, years, old. So if the person has given us 5 years, it will now be what? You are 5 years what? Old. Then, of course, we exit the column WQ. Then we switch to CH mode, editable mode. Then plus X. What's the name of the file? Again, prompt, right? Prompt from 2.sh. Then we can now enter the directory to see the information / prompts from 2.sh, and then we get it. Now it's asking us to enter what? You can see that it's working now. Enter your age. I will say, okay, my age is 90. Press enter. You are 90 what? Years old. So this is an alternative method where you don't want to use what? Echo. You can use what? The IPP to read the person's information on the same line.